So in today's video, I'm just going to be getting ready while telling you guys my labor and delivery story. So if you're interested, just keep watching. Okay, so I had my son on August 22nd of 2019. I was 40 weeks, 2 days. So my due date was 20th of August. And I had a 26-hour labor. And about 2 of those hours was of me pushing him out. So that's that. So I went to the hospital the day of the 22nd to do like a distress test or whatever, just because I was past my due date. My doctor was making sure that everything was fine with the baby. So anyways, I believe I was 2 centimeters dilated already. So they just did the test, everything was fine, got sent home. And then later that night, not even later that night really, about like 2 or 3 hours later maybe, me and Ray were going to be taking a nap, and then I felt like a lot of discharge was coming out. So I got up so I could go to the bathroom, and when I stood up, all of it just came out. My water broke. I was like in shock. It felt so weird. It really does feel like you peed your pants. That's literally how it feels, and you can't stop it. I was squeezing my legs together, and it was just coming out. So then I was trying to wake Ray up, and he did not even believe me. And then I was like, "Look at the floor," and then he got up all fast. It was funny, and it was so weird because my mom had texted me if everything was okay and all that, and if she could go out of town somewhere because I wanted her to be there with me. I wanted her to be there with me the whole time. So I was like, yeah, everything's fine, go ahead and go. So she left out of town. And literally the second that I said, yeah, everything's fine, I stood up and my water broke. It was so funny. But anyways, after my water broke, I just took a shower. I already had my my hospital bag and everything ready. So I didn't have to really worry about any of that. I just had to take a shower. And then I think I just ate a snack or something because I wasn't that hungry since I had just eaten. And I definitely regret that, because the whole 26 hours, that they obviously didn't let me eat. The only thing they let me have that was kind of supposed to fill me up was apple juice, and I don't even like apple juice. But that's all I had for the whole 26 hours, and some ice, obviously. So I get there, and I don't feel no contractions, nothing. So they just had me waiting there for a while. I'm just in the bed already. And I want to say about an hour or two, yeah, probably like an hour or two that I get there, I start feeling contractions. I honestly didn't know what to expect with the contractions, because everybody feels them differently. Like, everyone's pain level is different. But once I started feeling the contractions, I was like, oh my god, like, I'm barely starting and it hurts this bad already. I was so scared once I started feeling the contractions, honestly. I was like, I'm not ready. Like, in my head, I was just thinking that. I was so scared. But I got the epidural right away, honestly. Once I hit, so when I originally got there, they said I was 1.5 centimeters dilated, but my doctor had already told me I was 2 the day before. So that was that. But right when I hit 4 centimeters, they came and checked me, and then the epidural lady came and explained the whole process to me, and she was like, are you gonna want it right now, because I'm about to leave, and like, she was on call or whatever. So if I would have wanted it, I would have had to wait for her to get all the way back to the hospital. But then, so I was just thinking about it for a while, but they were getting worse and worse. They were so powerful to the point where I just started to throw up and I couldn't even breathe. It was just terrible. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna just get that. And the baby's crying. I'll be right back. Like I said, the contractions were really strong and I was already throwing up and I just kept feeling nauseous. I think I only threw up once, maybe twice, but still, they were so bad. So they checked me again and I was at 4 centimeters and I was just like, okay, I'm ready for it. And then, so they came in and they did it, and I didn't see the needle or anything, but I feel like I felt it. And honestly, I feel like I still feel it in my back sometimes. But they did the needle, the epidural in me, and then they hooked me up. So I was already at 4 centimeters and I had an epidural. So I think I went to that 4 centimeters around like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I had went into the hospital after my water breaking at like 6. My water broke at 6. Yeah. My water broke at 6. I got to the hospital like at 7:30. So at around like 9 or 10ish, I was at 4 centimeters. So time went on, got some sleep through the night, but I was very, very anxious. So I didn't sleep much, and the nurses just were telling me, you're gonna need sleep for when you're pushing, you're gonna need that rest, you're gonna need to sleep for when you're pushing, you're gonna need that rest and all that. And I was like, I know. I really did not realize how tiring pushing would be either. That is another thing. It was very tiring. Time was passing. It was probably like 3, 4ish. My dad had finally gotten to town. He doesn't live here, so once he found out, he came to see me. So my sisters and my dad and my stepmom, they all came and were just chilling in the room for a little bit. And then the doctor came to check me, so they left. And then I think they just went back to their hotel, or they waited for a little bit. I'm not too sure. I don't remember, but I know my dad had left since they were checking me. And then my sisters were just there still. And we were all chilling. It was fine. And then out of nowhere, I just start feeling a whole bunch of pressure. A lot of pressure. And I was like, oh my God. So I called Ray over and I was just like, I'm feeling so much pressure. I don't know what it is, because I think the last time when they had checked me before, like right before I started feeling pressure, I think I was at like 8.5 or 9 centimeters. So like probably an hour later I had already gotten to about 10. I want to say, I'm not too sure, but I started feeling a lot of pressure. So I was telling Ray, I was like, I'm feeling so much pressure. And then it finally was getting to a point where it started to make me cry, and I was like, oh my God. And since this is my first baby, I don't know how it feels if I didn't have the epidural, but I felt a lot of pain. Like for having the epidural, I felt a lot of pain. So then my mom called the nurse and they checked me and they were like, oh yeah, it's time. So my sisters were still in there and they just started making me push right away. My sisters were still in there and I originally just wanted my mom and Ray in there. So they just snuck out the room while I was pushing, and then my mom and Ray were holding my legs. And yeah, it felt like I was pushing forever. But the weird thing is that I know it hurt, I know I felt it, but I can't like describe how the pain felt, which is really weird. Like I cannot remember the pain feeling at all, which is like maybe because I had so much adrenaline or something and I can't remember. I don't even know. I just can't remember the pain at all, how it felt, which I don't know why. It's pretty weird, but I know it hurt. I know I was in pain, obviously. And I know I was crying. And finally, after about 2 hours, when baby boy came out, he was literally sticking out for the longest time. And once I stopped pushing, he would just go right back in. And I was like, but like I said, I don't know how it feels to give birth without an epidural. Maybe one day I'll do it if I'm a champ, but like I said, I felt a lot of pain even with the epidural. So if you guys have any labor stories and if you felt the pain or not, comment below, because I know some people say that pushing was the easiest part for them, and that was the worst part of them for me. That's just in my situation. But I also think a big part of it was how tired I was, because it is a lot of work to push. You will not believe it until you're in the situation. It is a lot of work. And when they tell you to rest, you definitely need to rest. So like I was saying, he was actually stuck. And every time I would give up a little bit, he went right back in. So my doctor was literally yelling at me. I was like, oh my god. But he was like, you need to push. And then I just kept hearing my mom and Ray like, he's right here, he's coming now. And that was like what gave me motivation to just push a little harder. You know, I was like, you know, there's nothing I can do. Nothing else I can do but push. Like, so I was just pushing. And he finally came out. I was just crying like happy tears. And literally, I know the pain went away. And all of that. It was just such a crazy experience. And I'm really grateful for it. And my baby boy. So once it came out, they cleaned him up, put him on me. I was just crying. I couldn't believe it. And the look on Ray's face was so, like, you could tell he couldn't believe it either. My mom too. It was just a really special moment. And I'll never forget, like, the details of this day. But he was born, my son, Ray, Ramon Jr. was born on August 22nd at 8:54 p.m. 21 inches long, 8 pounds, 3 ounces. And he's now 5 months, and he'll be 6 months February 22nd, which is his dad's birthday. Anyways, funny moment of while I was pushing. I don't remember saying this at all. Like, I swear Ray was lying until I asked my mom. But while I was pushing, I literally said to push him back in because I couldn't do it. Like, who does that? That's so embarrassing. I really don't remember saying that at all. It's so funny though. But after he was born, it was just my mom there. I didn't really want everybody there right away because I just wanted it, you know, me, Ray, and the baby, us three, for at least the first few hours, you know. But since it was already late, everyone just came the next day. But Ray's mom came to see him late that night, and she brought Denny's. That was the one thing. That was all I was thinking about, was Denny's chicken strips. I was so excited to eat that. But then, so anyway, I was eating. The nurse comes in, gives the baby a bath, and then, so my nurse, she was whatever, but she was getting so angry at me because I couldn't use the bathroom. I couldn't go pee after. Like, right after I gave birth, I couldn't go to the bathroom, and she was like mad. She's like, you need to go to the bathroom. And I was like, I'm trying, girl. She was sitting there in the bathroom with me. I was like, I'm trying, I can't go. And she was getting so mad. I was like, relax, give me a break. But I ended up going, so it was alright. So we got switched out of the room that I delivered him in. Fun fact, the room that I gave birth in, my mom gave birth to me in there, in the same room. It's pretty cool. But anyways, I keep getting distracted. Anyways, they switched us to a different room that we were staying in. We had to share a room for one night though, only. It wasn't terrible. So then I want to say, oh, I forgot to mention, before he got his bath, he did latch on to me right away. He latched good, but then throughout the night it started getting harder, obviously. That's what I'm getting to now. So once we got switched into the room, they had a nurse come in and help me, like, latch him onto me to feed him and all of that. Because I had originally planned to breastfeed, but I also wasn't going to be, like, I wasn't going to be hard on myself if it didn't work out. So I breastfed for, like, 2 weeks, I want to say, and then now he's just on formula because it was getting too hard, and like he would not want to latch on. But anyways, so as after we got switched into the room, they just were helping me get him latched on and all that, and then by this time it was already like midnight probably, so I stayed up pretty much that whole night that I gave birth. I was like, it's exhausting for real, because when I would go to sleep, he would wake up and I would have to feed him. So then I was like, you know what, I'm just stay up. So I slept for about 2 hours that night probably, and then they woke me up in the morning because they had to give him some shots and all of that, and do his feet print in his hands and all of that. So they woke me up early for that. Honestly, my body wise, I was feeling really sore. That's the main thing, was just sore. I was bleeding a lot, but luckily for me, I didn't really bleed for a long time after. I bled maybe 2 weeks. I bled a week probably, that was heavy only, and I probably just bled for like 2 or 3 weeks after birth completely. So it wasn't too bad. But yeah, body wise, I was just really sore. I was really tired. So yeah, everybody came to visit us. Everybody was all in love. My son is so handsome. I'll probably put in some pictures of what he looked like when he was born, and then I will update you guys at the end of this video of how he is now. Yeah. So then, since we did have him late on the 22nd, they had us stay for a whole nother night. So we were in the hospital for 2 nights, and that dragged a lot as well. It was a long 2 nights. And then by the time that we got to go home, it was probably like 3 in the afternoon on the 24th. So I was in the hospital for 2 full days, and it felt like way longer than that. But once we got to go home, we took baby boy to meet his great grandma, which is Ray's grandma. We took him to meet her, and then we went home to my mom's house, which is where I was living at the time he was born. And she had it all decorated outside. She's so cute. And yeah, so we just got settled in. I just relaxed and took everything in, that our lives are completely changed now. We got our baby boy, the greatest thing that's ever happened to us. And yeah, overall though, I feel like I had a pretty easy pregnancy. I had a hard delivery, I feel, but I'm sure people have worse stories. But I feel like during my pregnancy, I just had normal pregnancy pains, pregnancy symptoms, all that. Nothing to the extreme, I feel. I feel like I was extremely tired, but I'm pretty sure every pregnant woman feels like that. But yeah, I don't know if this video is very detailed of my labor and delivery or not, but I tried my best. Not much happened, like nothing extreme happened. I kind of feel like it was usual, normal pregnancy delivery. One thing that they were concerned about was that he would be too big and I would have to get a C-section. That was the only thing that really, you know, was a concern during my delivery, but that obviously didn't happen. I had him vaginally, and that's what I wanted. Obviously, I was really scared that I would have to end up doing a C-section. That is something I will admit. But yeah, everything else pretty much the usual. I feel like my labor was very long. That is one thing, but I wouldn't change anything about it. Okay, maybe I would change the length about it, but as long as my baby boy was healthy, I really didn't care. It was all worth it. So yeah, that's the end of this video. I just want to say thank you for watching, and let me know what other videos you guys would like to see as well. Before I end this video though, I will go show you guys my baby boy Ray Ray right now. Hi my handsome guy, what are you doing, baby boy? What are you doing, baby boy? So this is Ray Ray. He's a little cranky right now, but this is Ray Ray, 5 months. He's a big boy, about 20 pounds. But he's so handsome, my baby boy.